55th annual Oglesby Rattlesnake Roundup. Y'all ready to have a good time? We're going to show you what happens when you mix rattlesnakes and crazy people. Man, most fun you can have. Maybe. We're going to try to give you some educational information to begin with. Teach you a little bit what we suggest you do should you ever encounter some of these rattlesnakes out in the wild. Talk with you a little bit about getting bit by a rattlesnake, what you should probably do if you do suffer a bite, and then we're going to do some daredevil stunts for you. So we're glad you came out. I know the weather's not real perfect yet, but we anticipate having a pretty decent day today and a really pretty day tomorrow. So hopefully you'll come and bring somebody with you again tomorrow. We're the Heart of Texas Snake Handlers. We've been doing this show for a number of years. This is what we do for a hobby. We're going to begin by showing you the first aid kit that we use, and we have used numerous times for first aid of a snake bite. Keep in mind this is a first aid kit. It is not snake bite treatment. Just sucking a little bit of venom out of a snake bite will probably not save your tail feathers. So this is called the extractor kit. There's a great deal of controversy as to how effective this is and to whether or not it works or not. We believe that it's helpful because if you can get this on the snake bite within the first few minutes of being envenomated, what this device does, it exerts 750 millibars of suction. That's almost a complete vacuum. And it'll suck some of the venom right back out of the wound. Any venom you can get back out of that wound in the first few minutes of that envenomation, we believe is going to lessen the severity of that snake bite. So that's exactly why we use that device. The most effective treatment for snake bite is an antivenin known as crowfowl, which is made by injecting a sheep with rattlesnake venom, drawing his blood back out using the antibodies that the sheep has in his blood to build that antivenin, which can be pretty effective. We're going to come around next, going to show you some photographs of a rattlesnake bite. That was my hand. I was bitten at Little Rock, Arkansas, longer than I can remember ago, a long time. But you can see the effect there. Rattlesnake venom is a muscle deterrent. It aids the snake in its digestion. It's hemotoxic. It attacks the blood. So it causes a great amount of tissue damage. If you're ever bitten by a rattlesnake, you're going to experience a great amount of swelling, bruising, discoloration at the bite. It's going to bleed pretty freely. It's going to be extremely painful. Best thing you can do is get on the telephone, call the nearest hospital, let them know that there's been a snake bite and that you're on the way. That way they can be prepared to treat that snake bite when you get there. Come around and let you have an opportunity to see these snakes up close. We're going to show you what these rattlesnakes look like up close. We're going to show you the biting mechanism and also that noisy end. That rattler's not going to harm you in any way. There's nothing dangerous about a rattlesnake rattler. That other end can harm you a lot. We're going to show you what the fangs look like, what the venom looks like. The venom looks a little like orange juice. It doesn't taste like orange juice, has a very bitter taste to it. You can ingest rattlesnake venom through your digestive tract with no ill effect. We'll make your hair fall out. That's a joke. Clean living's what made my hair fall out. These rattlesnakes have 4 sets of fangs which are rejuvenating themselves at all times. We'll oftentimes find a rattlesnake with 2 fangs on one side. That's what they do. They grow in beside each other. One of them becomes loose, falls out. The new fang is already attached to the venom glands. Venom glands on a rattlesnake are somewhat like a sponge. It's a spongy material located inside the snake's head. He has 2 venom glands, one on each side. He has muscles on each side of the venom glands. When he contracts those muscles, cause that venom to squirt out through that fang. The fang's just like a hypodermic needle. So it's just like getting a shot with venom. Very small amount of rattlesnake venom can cause a great deal of harm. These rattlesnakes eat mostly warm-blooded animals, mice, rats, baby birds, things like that. Sometimes they'll eat a lizard, but they mostly eat warm-blooded animals. These rattlesnakes are a pit viper. So the little holes you see on the face of a rattlesnake, which looks like its nostrils, are actually heat-sensing organs. That's why it's called a pit viper. He can sense with those pits a warm-blooded animal so that he can feed at night. They do mostly feed at night anyway. They're mostly nocturnal. So they can feel a little mouse or rat, baby rabbit, something like that with those heat-sensing organs. What we suggest you do if you're ever out in the wild and you encounter some of these rattlesnakes, you may be headed out to your favorite fishing hole and you hear something, you look around, you see that you've walked into a pile of rattlesnakes. If you encounter this many rattlesnakes, I'm going to make a suggestion. You might want to find somewhere else to fish. If you'll stay still, this rattlesnake will not feel threatened by you. They're threatened by rapid motion. If you're moving very fast, you're going to scare the snake. A snake will bite you for two reasons, food and fear. We're not a food item. We're too big for this snake to be eating us, so the only reason he's going to bite at you is if you scare him. You'll see by moving very slow, you can move away from these rattlesnakes. It is cool in here. The floor is cool. The weather's pretty cool. Rattlesnakes are cold-blooded. They cannot regulate their body temperature. So they're going to be the temperature of the surrounding temperature around them. So if it's cold like this, they're going to be sluggish. They're going to be slow because they've cooled way down. They can still bite. You see some of those are striking. Next thing we're going to demonstrate for you is that you can get these rattlesnakes in close proximity to your body with where there's no protection. As long as we stay still, these rattlesnakes are not supposed to bite us, and we hope they read the script. Nate does not have any protective gear on aside from the boots that he's wearing. And believe me, a rattlesnake can penetrate that shirt and those pants. Rattlesnake fangs are very sharp. They're brittle, so they can't penetrate anything that's very hard. Even starched jeans will oftentimes turn a fang, but those jeans that Nate has on there are not starched, and I'm sure if one of those snakes bit him in the leg, he'd be able to penetrate through the pants and into his tissue. These are all western diamondback rattlesnakes that you see in the pit right now. That's the most common snake that you see in rattlesnake. Venomous snake in Texas is the western diamondback. These rattlesnakes can get about 6 feet in length at their maximum length. The western diamondback is not the largest venomous snake in the United States. The eastern diamondback gets larger than the western. These westerns will get about 6 feet at their maximum. An eastern can attain about 8 feet in length. The eastern is the largest venomous snake in the United States. I'm butchering the English language, y'all excuse me. Now, rattlesnake rattlers are made out of keratin. the same substance that makes up your fingernails. It's hardened the skin, and so those segments on the rattlesnake's rattlers, they bang together when the rattlesnake vibrates his tail. Now, all snakes vibrate their tail, not just rattlesnakes. You may see a non-venomous snake that will vibrate his tail. He doesn't have the rattling device, but that's a warning that these snakes are nervous. So when they're nervous, they do vibrate their tail. The rattlesnake rattlers are no indication of the age of a rattlesnake. He does not gain a rattler every year. He gains a rattler every time he eats real good, because when he begins to grow, he has to shed his skin. They're cold-blooded animals, so they grow out throughout their lifetime. They grow slower as they begin to get larger, but they do grow throughout their lifetime. And anytime they eat real good, they're going to grow. And when they grow, they're going to have to shed their skin. When he sheds his skin, he gets a new rattler. Nate is pretty much at the mercy of the other snake hounds that assist him in this spot, because when he's sitting there where he's at now, boy, this struck him. Under his leg just struck a cheek. Because the people that's helping him there are going to have to get him out of this mess that they got him in, because he can't be moving these snakes. Well, he could. We're going to suggest that he does not move these snakes on his own. That these guys that put them on him, they should be the ones that take them off. Gonna leave him there? Go get a sandwich? He'll probably be there when we get back. They are striking. This is the first rattlesnake roundup of the year in Texas. There's not very many rattlesnake roundups left. When I started back in the late 60s, there were about 40 rattlesnake roundups in the state of Texas. There's about 7 left. Y'all got one up underneath him there? Sometimes these rattlesnakes are denning creatures. They like to crawl to a tight spot. So if we got one underneath there, we've got to lift his legs up real slow and pull him back out. Hey, oh my goodness, it scared me to death. Wow, that was fun, wasn't it? Didn't know y'all could move that fast. Rattlesnakes bear live young. They do not lay eggs. The young are born in an egg sac, but they break out of that egg as soon as they're born. A lot of snakes lay eggs, but rattlesnakes bear live young. They usually have about 8, 10, 12 young at a time. They're born at about 8 to 10 to 12 inches long. They are born with venom. They have venom when they're born. A lot of people like to tell the old wives' tale that a smaller rattlesnake will cause a worse bite than a big rattlesnake. It's not necessarily true. The way that myth originated, smaller rattlesnake has not learned to control his envenomation. He hadn't envenomated many times like a larger rattlesnake has. So a larger snake sometimes will give you what's known as a dry bite. About 4 out of 10 times you're struck by a rattlesnake, he's not going to envenomate. Because if he doesn't contract those muscles on either side of those venom glands, there's not going to be any venom going to you. So that's called a dry bite. But the smaller rattlesnakes generally will give you all the venom they have, but they're smaller, so they don't have the same amount of volume of venom that a larger snake has. What Ken's doing there now is what's known as free handling a rattlesnake. When we free handle, we hold the rattlesnake without immobilizing his head. Underneath his jaws, 1 point of pressure on top of his head. or hold him in that fashion, he cannot turn or strike or do anything because we're totally in control of the snake's head. But what Ken's doing there now is called free handling. When you're free handling a rattlesnake, he does have a capacity to strike. He can turn and strike him in the hand or in the arm. But you'll see that Ken's handling that snake very gently. As long as we're calm and gentle, easy and smooth with that rattlesnake, he doesn't feel any threat by Ken, doesn't feel like Ken's going to hurt him, so there's no reason for him to strike. There again, we hold the snake ready to script. You'll see various colorations on these rattlesnakes. They do vary. Their pattern is going to be about the same, but the different colors, some are brighter and darker than others. Right after they shed their skin, they are a little bit different colored. But you'll see pretty much the reason this is called the diamondback, because he has the diamond pattern on his back. Now this is a real popular stunt that we do at these shows called sleeping bag stunt. We're going to get the sleeping bag out, get one of these handlers inside the bag, and then we're going to place a few of those snakes in there with them. Then we're going to see if they can crawl out and leave the snakes behind. This is a good time to make sure you check how tight your pants are on your boots, because we've been known to get snakes up our pants leg when we're doing this stunt. Ken Garrett had to cut my pants open one time and get one out. We're going to try to watch for them and see if they all go to the bottom. And, you know, there's no guarantee these snakes can do pretty much what they want to. Boy, you're helping him a lot. You're close. Hey, he left something in there. Wow. Now he's barefoot in a rattlesnake pit. I guess that says a little something about what kind of sense we got for being in here. Yeah, chicken boots. Oh my goodness. Make sure there were snakes in there. Yeah, there was snakes in there. We're often asked how fast can a rattlesnake strike. The colder it is, the slower they're going to strike. We're going to try to demonstrate for you the strike of a rattlesnake. We're going to try to blow a balloon up here and maybe get one of these snakes out on the table and see if we can get him to pop this balloon with his fangs. We do not alter these snakes. We don't pull their fangs, or we don't tape their mouths shut or milk the venom before we start doing these shows. We don't alter them. These snakes do have the capacity to inflict a deadly bite. Yeah, this daredevil stunts, you know, we don't do it like Sweetwater, Texas. Sweetwater does it on the end of a pinner. We do it out of our mouth. It's a little braver. Maybe. I think it's a chicken snake. Ooh, we tried.
They're moving so close, they have one to keep popping.
Ooh, I don't know how you missed on that one. Oh! It may be too cold to do a balloon pop. We're trying. It's too cold.
Oh, he almost wanted that.
Close your eyes, we come back up.
Over the top of that balloon, that snake looks about 6 feet long. We may have to try it next show when it's warmed up a little bit. It's going to conclude this particular show. We'll have another one for you at noontime. We will be inside the pit here. We'll have somebody here throughout the day. If y'all have any questions or comments, you want to take pictures or any of that, we'll be around for you. So y'all have a great time out here.